Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to this Car Design News webinar about CATIA for Creative Designer. My name is Xavier Melkonian. I work for Dassault Systemes, and I am here today with Pierre Maheut, our product expert in CATIA Industrial Design Solution. So the purpose of this webinar is to present and introduce you to a new solution of CATIA for creative designers. Before starting to jump into the solution, everybody knows CATIA for the rational parts of the product. CATIA is heavily used in the engineering department for the functional aspect of the product, and most of our customers need also to communicate the emotion of their product, which is more communicated through the styling and design of their product. So it was very important for Dassault Systemes also to have a product and solutions for the design studios. But before making and creating our solution, we first wanted to make sure that we acquired the right expertise and the right experience about creativity and design departments. So the first step is that we invested 3 years ago in the creation of a design studio called DS Design Studio within Dassault Systemes. Our goal was really to make sure we understand all the daily challenges and the behavior of the design studio to create a perfect solution for the creative designers. So we created a design studio made of around 10 people with different talents. We wanted to make sure we address all the scope of design. So we have transportation designers, product designers, digital modelers, class A modelers, interaction designers, visualization experts, and so on. The design studio is led by Anna Sancio, who used to be a designer in the automotive industry, and she is leading this design studio within Dassault Systemes. Again, the goal was to make sure that we use this design studio as a lab to understand what are the daily job and the daily challenges and behavior of the designers and creative designers through the entire industrial design workflow. So based on this expertise, we have created and started to create a dedicated solution for industrial design. This solution, called CATIA Industrial Design, is really dedicated to creative designers in the styling and design department. The goal is really to support the competitive advantage by design, to make sure we address the daily challenges of the designers. First of all, to help designers to develop creativity, to boost innovation in the company. Secondly, is also to help creative designers to convince about their design, to take daily strategic decisions about the styling and design of the product. Third, it's also to help and facilitate the collaboration within their company, from design, marketing, engineering, and the rest of the organization. And last but not least, also to help designers to achieve better product perceived quality and final quality of the product with high quality modeling and high-end visualization solution. So to address all these needs and this competitive advantage by design, we have created CATIA Industrial Design, a unified industrial design workflow solution to imagine, create, share, and experience from ideation, concept, refinement, up to class A surfacing, to design validation with visualization and physical prototype. So the first goal with this solution was to make sure we have a complete solution covering the entire industrial design workflow with a new approach by proposing a unified environment, which means a unified modeling environment offering to our customer different modeling techniques from subdivision surfaces to explicit modeling like NURBS and Bezier direct modeling to associative and parametric surfacing, and also combining all the other modeling paradigms of CATIA like solid modeling, knowledge modeling, and so on. So we really wanted to offer a unified environment, making sure that the user and our customers can choose, depending on their process, which modeling techniques they want to use, and really to have the choice. So it's a unified modeling environment, but it's also a unified visualization environment. Same as modeling, we wanted to give the choice to the users to choose between different visualization engines, from real-time visualization, rendering with MontArray, to interactive ray tracing with Mental Images IRA technology. I will come later on that subject. The second aspect of the solution is that we really wanted to make sure we give back 3D creativity accessible for the creative designers. Most of the time, the actual technology, explicit modeling, like NURBS and Bezier, are way too complex for ideation and concept modeling. So by integrating subdivision surfaces, like virtual clay modeling, we can bring back 3D concept modeling and 3D ideation accessible to creative people. So they can do 2D concept modeling, 2D ideation by using sketching by hand or Photoshop. So we do support native file format of Photoshop in the solution, but we also wanted to provide 3D ideation, giving the ability to do virtual clay modeling with subdivision surfaces. And for sure that should be reusable with all the other NURBS and solid modeling technology within CATIA. The third important point is that we also want to streamline the collaboration between creative designers and the engineering department. So being on the same platform, which is CATIA, we really can facilitate all the iterations in a project between designers and engineers. So by smoothing the transition between all these iterations, you finally save a lot of time and achieve a better quality of product. So streamlining design and engineering collaboration is about two things. First of all, by working and collaborating on the same product, on the same solution, which is CATIA, you can reuse the data you're creating. So for example, a designer can create a surface and at any time, totally interactive and in parallel, an engineer, an aero expert, or anyone else in the company can work on the same surface by adding thickness, adding stress analysis, adding all his engineering intelligence and knowledge. So it's really about having a better collaboration up to all our customers are totally becoming interdependent between design and engineering. So we must facilitate the collaboration and the data exchange, but more than just data exchange, it's also being able to work on the same IP of the product, the same data of the product in real time. The second aspect is also about global organization. It's also helping our customers to work with very complex networking of colleagues from in-house peers in the same company, but also collaborating with design agency or also suppliers, which might be in different countries, with dealing with different studios globally or engineering department somewhere else in the planet. And this is exactly what we want to address with our V6 platform, which is CATIA Industrial Design in V6. Working on a single IP referencing on a server, you can in real time work on the same data. And for sure, we also manage all the security at the level of the object. So if a designer is working on the surface, all his colleagues can work on the same surface if he gives the rights to use it. So this is exactly what we want to address with CATIA Industrial Design. It's to have a complete solution offering the complete process, the complete workflow from ideation, concept, refinement, and reverse engineering to design validation, giving back 3D accessibility to creative designers with easy to use, easy to learn, and easy 3D ideation with subdivision surfaces, streamlining the design and engineering and interdependence collaboration, and helping our customer to stay connected to their global network. So I have a small video showing what we mean by a unified industrial design workflow solution, from ideation, concept, refinement, and design validation. The example is through a car seat project. So you can work with CATIA Industrial Design, first of all, by taking a sketch made by hand or made with Photoshop, and then to integrate it in your 3D environment, CATIA. We support native file format of Photoshop, so at any time the Photoshop file can be updated, and then you can start to do 3D ideation. For example, here we use subdivision surfaces to be able to do like virtual clay modeling. So just by pushing, pulling the surfaces, the faces, the edges, or maybe also by sketching curves, influencing the subdivision surfaces, you can also do a 3D ideation easily and rapidly without having or needing months of training. And thanks to this technology, in few seconds, you can also work and study a lot of design variations. Then you can go also to modeling and taking the full power of CATIA by creating detailed surfacing. By the way, you can reuse the subdivision surfaces and then manage them as explicit NURBS modeling if needed. Or you can create directly advanced surfacing with NURBS and Bezier modeling. Especially since the integration of ISM within CATIA, you have the full power and the full precisions of ISM modeler and mathematics within CATIA. What is interesting is that you can combine all these techniques. Here, for example, you saw that we cut the NURBS model by subdivision surfaces, and here with this tool, you can see that we use also a knowledge modeling techniques of CATIA to automatically create detailed modeling of geometry in few seconds. And then at any time, we can use all the technology of CATIA for bills of material, drafting, and also collaboration. So here, for example, in real time, from different place and location in the world, you have an engineer and a creative designer collaborating on the same project. So you can do real-time modification, real-time collaboration, and more important, real-time co-creation. And then it goes to experience. So you can also experience your product, for sure with the physical prototype, with all the milling solutions and rapid prototyping of CATIA. But you can also do real-time visualization to, first of all, have a better understanding of your product while you're modeling, but also to work on colors and materials with advanced shaders, advanced real-time solutions like real-time ambient occlusion, real-time shadows, advanced CGA fixed shaders. And we are also pleased to introduce now a new solutions for interactive ray tracing that I will present later on. And then at the end, you can produce photorealistic rendering as we integrate in CATIA Industrial Design Manta-Ray. So you can do Manta-Ray photorealistic rendering within CATIA. So that was a short overview of the solution. CATIA Industrial Design, covering the entire industrial design workflow to imagine, create, share, and experience your design. I have a second example, which is more related to product design, adding also another dimension, which is about crowdsourcing and social innovation networking. So we have announced a new platform solution to do crowdsourcing and social innovation crowdsourcing. So again, you can start by sketching, but now you can also do social network inspiration and crowdsourcing. So from this 3dswim.com platform, you can share your project, collaborate with your peers worldwide. And then you can bring your data, your 3D data within CATIA, and again, starting to do 3D ideation with subdivision surfaces, to do quick exploration, quick design exploration in few seconds without spending hours of NURBS modeling. And then you can also do a design exploration in your PDM system, because in CATIA Industrial Design V6, you have a PLM system integrated. After concept modeling and ideation, you can also do advanced surfacing and advanced modeling. Again, you can use advanced surfacing techniques like direct explicit modeling, but you can also use solid modeling, for example, if you have some solid parts that you want to add in your design, what you can see here. And then you can use parametric NURBS too, and then you can combine and unify all these modeling techniques. Here again, you can see another example of how we can use knowledge to do a SU, but you can also use knowledge to do a front grille, for example, of a car. So in a few minutes, you can do some very complex and organic shapes, totally automated. And again, you can collaborate and share your design with your peers. For example, here a mold expert is doing the thickness analysis on the mold, and then is iterating with the designers to ask him to change his surface, his cover surface, because the thickness is not resistant enough. So they can really, in real time, collaborate on the same data without doing data exchange. And then you can also share your data through the web with 3D via viewers. And then it's about experience. Experience is also about composing your object with advanced kinematics, or advanced assembly, with a very easy way to do assembly. And then it's also about visualization. Again, here you can see the materials, the colors, but also the shadows in real time within V6. It's also about stickers and decals to finally explore a lot of design variations in terms of shape, but also in terms of colors and material. And you can also produce final output, CGI imagery for marketing and sales, again by using mental array within CATIA. The important point for us was to offer a complete solution to avoid any data exchange between different systems, first of all for the designer, but also to have a better collaboration with the engineering department, working on the same data and the same geometry, and to reuse the same data and the same geometry. One important aspect of the solution is that we introduced last month a new solution called CATIA Live Rendering. So within CATIA Industrial Design, we integrated the mental images array technology to also offer to the designers photorealistic and physically correct interactive ray tracing. Our goal was to provide photorealistic imagery for everyone, to make it very simple and integrated, but without compromising anything on the visual quality. And we want to do that for any profiles of users, from the design department, styling and design department, to engineering department, and also sales and marketing. So this technology is based on mental image array. It's a totally interactive global illumination and ray tracing solution. It's physically correct, and it's hybrid, taking the full power of CPU and the GPU. It's based on CUDA language from NVIDIA, which gives you outstanding performances. So it takes all the power from your CPU and GPU to have a better lifelike interactive experience. In terms of user interface and user experience, we wanted to make it very accessible and simple. So we use the lifelike simple experience of the photographers. So you will see in terms of UI, it's very, very simple. So you're still in CATIA, you don't do any data exchange or data tessellation or data preparation, and you can directly visualize your data as it is in your modeling environment, just by activating live rendering within CATIA, and then you have a full global illumination, physical correct, and ray tracing solution. So for example, you can see all the reflections, diffractions on your objects, on your glass, on your materials, and it's based also in terms of lighting on HDRI imagery. So at any time you can bring any HDR image that you have to visualize within CATIA your object in another environment. So you have multiple options. So you have a library of HDRI within the solution, or you can simply drag and drop your new HDR and visualize your product in your imagery, in your environment image based on HDRI. So as I said, it's based on the photograph user experience. So to manage the lens and the material, it's pretty simple. First of all, you take your object. Secondly, you select where you want to see your object. So you select in the library of HDR image where you want to see your object. It's your environment. And third, you select the material you want to apply on the object. So you have a library of object, a library of environment. You also have a library of materials. The important things to understand in this solution is that with CATIA Industrial Design V6, you have a PLM environment. So every object you store in the system is in your PLM, which means your 3D object, but also your materials and texture libraries. So you can really have a management of your materials and texture within the system. So you can do search, you can do selections, filtering on your materials, and you can also have dedicated people doing your material library for you. So here you have some examples of renderings that you can do just by doing a screenshot within V6, within CATIA Industrial Design V6, based on this new interactive ray tracing solution. So you can see soft and hard shadows, but you can also see some specific materials like chrome or like brush metals or like cast-paint. But also you can also notice some effects of depth of field, which is very automated and simple to use. Some other example about front lights in terms of reflections, but also in terms of diffraction and index of refraction. As I said, it's a physical correct solution. So you can also add at any time IES file format of your light source. So you can have a very precise and physical definition of your lights. And you can also, in addition, ask some object to emit lights. So here, for example, we wanted to study 2 different options and intensity of lights, and it can be totally interactive. Another example showing that we, in few seconds with subdivision surfaces, we have created some tubes to have some nice artistic effects, and we asked these tubes to be emitters of lights with a specific photon emission intensity. So in few seconds you can do modeling, and in few seconds you can see it, as it is totally interactive. Some other example about interior design, where the light is very important. So you can see some global illumination effects of the lights and shadows. Some other example where you can see the ray tracing and also a little bit of ray tracing for the reflections, but also some effects of depth of field. And as the technology is totally interactive, you can also, why not, use CATIA Industrial Design to drive some design review. So you can, at the speed of the discussion, have total interactive team review without spending time to do data preparation, as you're still on your CATIA model and you're still in CATIA. So it's just about adding some materials, selecting an environment, and during the discussion, changing the colors, the materials, the object, and why not, as you're still in the modeler environment, changing the geometry. So at any time you can activate the surfacing, the subdivision surfaces modeler, or why not CATIA ISM, to change your surface and then just visualize it. It is totally integrated. It will dramatically change the process of design review without spending time to do a lot of data preparation. So as you understood, we have some interesting technology to help creative designers to do 3D creativity, ideation, and concept modeling with speed modeling or very rapid concept modeling, especially with the subdivision surfaces. And at the same time, you saw that we also introduced physically correct photorealistic rendering with integration of iRay. The goal is really to give the ability to creative designers to do in few seconds, in few minutes, creative sessions. So they can, in few minutes, explore 3D ideation, but also colors and material ideation. So if you have some complex products, by mixing both, you can really have a very dedicated creative session on modeling and visualization. So for this part, I will leave the end to Pierre Maheut, who will show you a demonstration on a car design, how you can use subdivision surfaces concept modeling and visualization at the same time to have a real modeling and visualization creative session. Pierre?
Thank you, Xavier. So what I will present now is how we can use this concept modeling and interactive rendering in the same time all together. So we start with this car, and we want to do the side mirror. So we just start with subdivision, and we will just move around, push and pull all the geometry just to adapt it to where we want to put it in the car. Again, just imagine the same scenario with another paradigm. It will be completely different and slower to do this complex geometry. Here we just have to rotate, to change the size where we want to. Push and pull, we can erase some faces that we want to delete, and everything will be kept anytime we keep the G2 continuity on the surfaces. So again, it's how to create very rapidly concept design for car design. So here we adapt it to the mirror itself, because we could have geometrical constraints and adapt to it. We can change completely the shape just by selecting part of the mesh of the subdivision. And now that I have a first ID, I can directly switch no data exchange, no conversion. All the material are the same, and we can just see how it will be in the real life. You can see reflection in the body of the car and also on the windows. And here we can notice that there is no fillet between the body of the car and the side mirrors that I just created. And so to create this fillet, I can just use CATIA HM to do that and to combine those two subdivision and CATIA HM surfaces. And as you can notice, we can also check the quality, the kind of zebra, directly with a physically correct visualization of CATIA Live rendering. And because we keep the associativity of everything, now we can move around the side mirror, and everything, all this complex fillet will be recomputed. We could also change the size of the fillet and also the quality up to G3 at any time and keep the associativity. So it's a very, very powerful solution to iterate, to change the design, and to check what we want to do. The other thing that we can do very easily with subdivision surfaces technology is to add those very complex details. For instance, here I just want to have a surface that goes through the side mirror, and I can still move around. I keep the fillet. I will also add a edge fillet on the side with changing the affinity, and again, at any time, switch back to the physically correct rendering. And have all those reflections that are lifelike and physically correct. I can change at any time the environment, so the lighting and the reflection. So I just put it back into kind of a real HDR environment. I can change the exposure as a photographer will do. I can change the size, of course, of the environment. And now I will start to have the way to find exactly my point of view as a photographer will do, where I want to create my final image. So I can change the perspective and also the focal to have the depth of field effect, and everything is immersive inside the environment and inside this view. And as soon as I release the mouse, it converges into a very realistic image and have all the reflection. You can also see the holes that I have created into the geometry, and I can even put emissive material for the side light. So again, it was 4 minutes long, not even 5, and I created a concept of a side mirror very quickly and kind of iterate, try and error, check what I want to do with this solution.
Thank you, Pierre. So first of all, sorry for the latency on the WebEx. I mean, the video was, I was checking the video, it was a little bit stretching because of the latency on the internet. So I encourage everyone who wants to discover the solution to call us, and we can make a live demonstration, or you can also discover some of the demonstration on YouTube videos. So that's it for the presentation. So if you want, we will check some questions coming from the WebEx session. So in the WebEx tool, you have the sections to ask questions. So feel free to ask any question, and I will just check what we have already. So we have a question about rapid prototyping, STL file format. So yes, in this solution, you can do rapid prototyping. So in the tool, you can do STL file optimization and then generate the STL file for rapid prototyping. We also have a question on Mac. Is it available on Mac? So we don't have yet a dedicated solution for the Mac OS. So first of all, CATIA can run on Mac in the Windows mode. And we have plans to port some parts of CATIA v6 on the Macintosh, but it's not yet available. So I'm checking if there is any other question. Do you know references client? So yes, we have several customers using CATIA in the design studio, in the design department, in different industries. So we have customers in packaging industry, we have customers in high tech, like Nikon, for example. We have customers in packaging, as I said, from very large companies that I cannot name, to also design agencies, like comes to my mind a company called APPE in Belgium. We use CATIA in design for plastic bottles, PET bottles. We also have customers in the automotive industry that I can unfortunately not name. We also have customers in industrial equipment, in consumer goods. So yes, and we also have schools now training on CATIA industrial design. So we have several schools in the world, like in France, like Strat College, NC, schools in Korea, like Cookmin, schools in Japan, in India, in US, like Lawrence Tech. We also sponsor time to time some projects. So we do collaboration projects with schools like Art Center in Pasadena. We also have schools in Sweden, like Chalmers, training on CATIA, just to name a few of them. Checking if there is other questions. So there were one question about the price, for sure. So I cannot give any names, any numbers on the web, but we have made, I mean, the solution is scalable depending on what you want to do. So there are 3 levels for the solution. The first one is the one that we made to address the design agency, the small design agency to the freelancer. So we have a very interesting price point for this audience. So it's mainly focusing on the concept modeling with the subdivision surfaces, drafting, solid modeling, real-time visualization, and rendering with Monterey. Then you have a second level, which goes deeper in terms of surfacing with NURBS modeling, advanced NURBS modeling, sorry, and high-ray interactive ray tracing, plus some other solutions. And there is a third level for automotive, as we have integrated CATIA ISM in the package. So you have 3 levels of pricing, a very interesting price point for the freelancers, up to the complete solution, including Class A surfacing with CATIA ISM. There was a second question? Oh. Okay, so it seems that we also have students in the call. So we have dedicated product for the education. And this is available for CATIA V5 and CATIA V6. And so with very dedicated prices and packages for the education market, including all these solutions. And we also have 2 levels of solution, one for the schools. So we have dedicated package for schools. And we also have a dedicated product for students. So I encourage everyone to go to the 3ds.com website. There is also a dedicated web page for the schools and students. I think it's DS Campus, where you have all the description of the packages. There is a question. I mean, everything we show right now was based on CATIA V6. And there were a question about the compatibility between V5 and V6. So if somebody is doing a project in V5, if you can continue it in V6, absolutely, for sure. The difference is that with V6 you have the integrated PLM solution, so you can have a better management of your IP and models and everything and your material. There is a question also about the interactive ray tracing solution. I have to add more precision. So this technology is only based on CATIA V6. So it is not available on our solution in V5. So the interactive ray tracing, called CATIA Live Rendering, is only available in V6. There is also a question in terms of hardware. hardware preconization or the hardware we use for the demo. So regarding visualization, the interactive ray tracing, it's very, it requires a lot of computation as it is a interactive global illumination and ray tracing. It requires a lot of computation. The interesting thing about the solution is that, again, we use an hybrid engine which is able to use all the power of the CPU and GPU. So it is totally scalable. So even if you don't have a good GPU, a good graphic board, it can run because it will use the CPU to compute. So if you have only 4 cores or 6 or 8 cores, it will work. The interaction will be slower, but it will work. Then if you have a visualization expert workstation, like for example a 12-core plus a very high-end graphic board, you will have better performance. And if you want to do a scale 1 4K resolution team review session, then you can also use it with very high-end graphic boards like NVIDIA Quadroplex or the new generation of the NVIDIA graphic boards, or you can use a cluster of CPU. It is totally scalable. There are also questions about can we reuse some data coming from external applications. So yes, in the CATIA Industrial Design solution, you also have IGES and STEP data translators, so you can import data coming from other solutions. The other point was that we also introduced in the latest release the ability to import OBJ file format for subdivision surfaces. So even if you do subdivision surfaces in a different software, you can import it and do all the surfacing solution on top of it, or redo subdivision surfaces, or do rendering on top of it. Somebody is asking how we did in the video, how we did the SU on the seat. So to do so, we used a technology called KnowledgeWare within CATIA. It's a technology that allows you to capture the knowledge of your company. We discovered that, in the creative process, sometimes you have to model some repetitive stuff, like a SU, like a front grille of a car, or some mechanical parts that is not very rich in terms of creativity. You just have to model it. It's a long time process, but not with a lot of value because it's a standard part, a standard object. So with KnowledgeWare, you can have dedicated people in your company who can create this kind of automated automated rules object creation. So for the SU, we use this KnowledgeWare, which in fact automatically, based on a curve, will generate geometry, and you can choose what you want. Here we choose a surfacing modeling or a subdiv. It was a subdiv or a NURBS model. It was a NURBS model, which was automatically generated based on a curve. So the user has just to select the curve, and then the SU will follow the curve. And then in this knowledge, we added 2 options for the user. First of all, the thickness of the SU, and the second one is the step, the number of SU that we want. And at any time, you can change it. So KnowledgeWare is very interesting to capture the knowledge of the company, the know-how of the company on some repetitive objects. And you can use it with any product. It can be the subdivision surfaces, it can be the CATIA ISM Class A, G3 continuity surfaces, or parametric surfacing or solid modeling.
Can you export the new format?
A question about exporting data in 3D. So yes, we can also export data. I mean, as I said, we integrated in the solution IGES and STEP, so you can import or export in IGES and STEP. We also have a dedicated and interesting file format called 3D XML made by Dassault Systemes. This file format is important and interesting because we also provide a viewer for the web that you can use to visualize your 3D XML data. And if you go to 3dvia.com, you can also upload these 3D XML viewers. But you can also download this viewer for iPhone and iPad. So you can also send your data to your website or to your iPhone. There is also one other aspect that I didn't mention, is that if you need to export your data, sometimes you also need to do the data optimization and preparation. So we introduced last year a new product called CATIA Distiller, which is integrated in this solution, which allows you to do all the data optimization and tessellation to feed other applications like animation software or GR applications like 3D Virtuals. You need to have a lightweight model. So by using this technology, you can do within CATIA all the data optimization, data restructuration, and data tessellation and simplification. So I'm sorry I cannot go through all the questions because we are already running out of time. So I want to thank everyone for participating to this session. If you have any further question, just go to www.3ds.com. There is also a specific pages for CATIA, which is called 3ds.com/CATIA, and also dedicated one for design, which is 3ds.com/design. Thank you, everyone.